Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob, and this is my channel, I Know Enough to Be Dangerous. One of the things we do here at the farm is we have a little fun restoring old tractors. Above you can see that this is my old dog and some of the tractors that we've restored or fender to fender restore with new paint and new fenders, new tin, or sometimes we just do the mechanicals to make it dependable. Most of the time we flip these. We use them for a little bit around the farm, have my fun with them, and then we ship them off to a good home like this one in particular. Found this in somebody's dingweeds. It was just rotted right to the ground. Both rear rims were all rotted out, and we found some new rims and some decent tires, and slapped them on here, put a new battery, things like that. These are just some more examples of what we've restored. I just wanted to talk about a couple different things on how far to go. This one here is we found in the dingweeds with some rotten tires and went through it. And little rattle can magic is pretty much what this one was. It wasn't remove all the tin and make it smooth or anything like that, but we made it dependable. We rewired the whole thing, converted it over to 12 volts, changed all the fluids, made sure everything worked, and we sent it down the road. This is a Ford NAA. This is a Ford 3000 that we found. This one we took a little bit more time. We took everything apart. I know it's not correct blue for this. I think this is an early 80s, late 70s 3000, but I like this color blue. We put new decals on it. We had to change the muffler. We had to put a new radiator in it. Don't worry, I got that masking tape off that front tire. We had to put a new front cowl on this one. It was damaged. These two beasts we went through, and this is one of the we kept for a little while at the tree farm with the tree spade, but it's just was too slow. This is the other one with a 3-bottom plow on it. We kept both of these until I have a rule: if it sits for 2 years, you got to get rid of it. We have little tractors we mess with too. This little John Deere. This is a little Ford. There's another New Holland, and this is our TYM we currently use here on the farm for just about everything. Another tractor we have here on the farm. It's a TC35. It's gear shift. It's got a mechanical shuttle back and forth. No problems ever. And this is a F12 that came off the family farm. I believe it's a 1927-ish. So I'm just throwing it out there. What do you guys do if you like restoring old tractors and stuff? I've found that if the eventual end game is to flip it, that you got to be careful on the dollars. What you paid for it, dragging it out of the dingweeds or the barn, and what you're really going to get for it. If you're like me and the most joy is just restoring the tractor and getting it out there to somebody else to reuse. I just like to make it dependable, some rattle can magic, and it's on its way. But if you start replacing the tires, a lot of times if you replace with new tires, it's more than the whole thing's worth. But some of the projects we've didn't put any paint into it or tin work, just made it dependable, converted it over 12 volts a lot of time, that type of thing. But there's two schools of thought depending on what the end game is. Here's another tractor that I like to mess with. I'm more of a blue guy than older blue guys in the 70s, 60s blue. But here's a Farm All C that was fun. It came with a sickle bar mower on the side, so of course I sold them separate. It was worth more separated than together, but I kept the tractor for a little while because really cool that it actually had functioning hydraulics. A lot of times you get these old girls and the hydraulics don't work anymore, but a little bit of a fluid change and she worked fine. They're very easy. All these older tractors are very easy to work with. A lot of these older Ford tractors, you can redo the whole wiring system for like $100 in an hour. and converting them over to 12 volts. Once you've done it a couple times, it's really not a big deal. But get decent parts, like that Ford NAA. I converted it, and then I actually had to buy a new carburetor for it. I gave the old carburetor with the tractor when I sold it, but just to get it running and dependable and idling, I just could not get that thing to run good with the carburetor that came on it. And it looked original, or it was changed a long time ago, but again, right out of the box, that new carburetor did not work. I had to take the whole bottom part off of it, and the floats were all bent. I don't know how floats get bent inside a carburetor just in shipping. My guess is somebody returned it and then they sent it to me, but it didn't smell like gas, didn't look like I had gas in it prior, but the floats were definitely bent, so they were not functioning properly. So it's not all just old tractors and stuff. We've had bulldozers and backhoes and stuff like that. This was a fun little thing. This is a 450C, not sure on the year, but it had the wet clutches, so that's kind of the reason I bought it. And we needed it for building our house here and leveling for some more greenhouses. So I picked this up, and then it just sat for 2 years, and worst thing for equipment, it just sits. So we put that down the road, and then here's some other tractors with some other implements. We have tree spades and wagons and grapple buckets and all sorts of stuff. We have bobcats. I sold the bobcat, after we harvested all the bigger trees. We built the house. It was just sitting around, so we basically needed a pole barn. So we sold the bobcat to get pole barn, and so there you have it. But it's fun picking up this old iron, I call it, and having some fun with it. And here's a bank mower. That's a very handy tool with a tree farm. You can get real close. It offsets, it tilts, and that's one of the projects this year. Is I had to buy the TYM. It comes with 2 hydraulic ports in the back, and one of them is a detent. And if you have a bank mower, that is not the correct valve for that mower, because you'll rattle your teeth right out of your head. So fortunately enough, TYM sells, you can add another just regular hydraulic port in the back with 2 connections and just stack it on top of what you have now. So I'll put the detent down, the lever closest to the seat in the tractor, because I don't use that much at all. But I'm going to use the other remotes very often, especially with that bank mower. It goes up and down, articulates 90 degrees. You can actually use it when it's running, cut it at 90 degrees, and then it's like more than 90. I can't remember what it was, but I think it's another 30 degrees down that you can cut things. So that's a very handy tool. And some of the other stuff is just functioning around the farm. Sprayers, we have a bunch of sprayers. I'm not a big chemical guy, but we do have to put a lot of deer repellent on, and whether it's whole milk or sheep's fat or hot sauce, we'll touch on that too. And right now we have just 3 different size tractors. I got the cab tractor for a lot of the winter work and mowing and stuff like that, but that's not very practical to get into the woods or in between some of the larger trees. So we step it down to the TC35 with the gear shuttle, which it's pretty useful, very general purpose. It's big enough to run around in the woods and drag out logs and stuff. But most of the spraying or the repellents is applied by the smaller TC24. That's hydrostatic, so that's nice to drive hydrostatic with cruise control, and you can just set it and the calibration's correct on the sprayer, and you just go, and it's small enough to get in between the bigger rows and the mature trees in it. so I don't have any problem with that. So I use that tractor a lot. And Christmas tree season, we put most of the those two bigger tractors up, and just use that smaller tractor. I know I say bigger, but it's the biggest ones I have. I've had the Ford 7000. I had a Case, 970, something like that. That was a big girl, and that's the biggest tractor I've ever flipped. I don't want to do that again. It's just too risky, because like I told you before, I like to do a general maintenance, and just the fluids and filters on that thing was outrageous. But that was a cool tractor too. That was, I wasn't a Case fan back in the day, but man, that thing was overbuilt. But they all have their problems. So thanks for joining me today. I know it was a little bit different than I normally do, but if you like the channel and you want to see some more stuff like this, we'll get into some more restores this spring when the weather warms up a little bit, and then we'll do a little farm tour, and just let me know what you want to see. Click the like button, subscribe if you want to. Why not? It's free. And thanks for joining me today. Have a nice day.